New Wave put me on the Batman Anthology series. I wasn't then, but I am now an expert on Batman.
You'll never believe what happened to me today.
Oh.
I was a comic book fan in that era, and the Joker was my favorite. I'm glad you're dead.
Jack Nicholson.
I'm glad you're dead.
He is of the piece. He is seamlessly into it. He is grand guignol, and he doesn't make a false step with the whole bravura performance.
The story says here's a man plunged into nuclear waste and comes out this other identity, right? So my simple thought on it is the guy is from then on short-wired. I love that.
People have said to me, did I feel nervous about taking on a task where you were going to produce some work that was going to be viewed in such detail and analysed in such detail? I had an initial nervousness about what Jack Nicholson was going to be like, but that's largely because you're going to be nervous about any actor who you might have to spend 3 or 4 months with.
By putting on a mask somehow it can be quite liberating as an actor and have things that come out of you that you wouldn't ordinarily have if you were just acting without anything over your face. Something comes through from the subconscious that might not come through without that. And I think that's true, and it's interesting, and it's fun to watch that happen.
Have you shipped 1 million of those things? Yes, sir. Ship them all! We're gonna take them out a whole new door!
I cut a total of 16 10-minute featurettes on a variety of subjects. I love going through hours of interviews to find the story, cut it together, and whittle it down. This could have been my last project. At least I was going out big. Then comes the whole producer and studio approval and re-editing process. The first cut is always the best, right?
Batman Returns was halfway for me between doing a film score and writing music for an opera, because every scene felt like the curtains were opening up on a theatrical vignette, and I'd play the music and the characters would do their stuff. Everything was very broad, and then the curtains would close and the next scene begins. It has that feel to it. In this scene, Batman is going to get knocked off a roof. He lands, he's out of breath, and the Catwoman is going to toy with him a little bit. So I start out a little bit of the Batman theme, and then that will make its way into a bit of the Catwoman's theme, a few notes, and I'll see how they work together. And in this little demo with synthesizers, I play against the screen and see how it all works. Batman is knocked down. And she's gonna have her fun with him. So we keep it nice and slinky.
You can't know to a girl like me. Handsome, dazed,
and I see the mistletoe up above. She notices the mistletoe. Again, we bring back the high strings. That's her little thematic piece that keeps coming back over her. And she's going to give him a nice cat kiss.
The second man who killed me this week.
I love the way he licks his lips after she licks him. That's my favorite part of the scene.
We had new characters with new gimmicks. The costumes are brilliant costumes, and the makeup in here, it's the same team. Everything just got bigger.
I was hoping you'd drop in.
We'd taken a giant leap from the Michael Keaton film and then had built on that
from the Val film to the George Clooney film. And at that point, you know, you had to have the same group of people that had been working on the same problem for 2.5 years.
We can design a piece that fits into here. So
well, we can certainly do scenes with and without it.
On all those movies, you have the common link of the costume designer and Bob Ringwood's interpretation of the original vision and then the development of that. And I presume Warner Brothers are concerned that there is some follow-through from one to another.
And then what we're going to do is this gets painted, then the glove comes to a line, and then it'll go to a point on the glove.
I don't think we ever had it that well worked out. I think it was just a creative process. Deals with, okay, we have this suit, now where are we going to go from here on out?
There's something about an anatomically correct rubber suit that puts fire in a girl's lips.
Joel Schumacher is the man who put the nipples on the bat suit. That's what Joel Schumacher did. And it amazes me that that could have offended as many people as apparently it did.
I tell you, all right, got a little wax in my ear.
So now
all the guys complain about their costumes, all right? That they're heavy, they're hot, and they are. They weigh over 50 pounds, and they're brutal to wear.
The bat suit's a little trickier. The problem is everything covers your ears are completely blocked, and your eyesight is like that, and everything is up underneath your throat, and everything is about 2 sizes too small. You really only stay in for about 15 minutes before, if you're doing any kind of thing physical, before you have to get out. Batman! You can't put your hands in your pockets, you know. Great actors' tools like cigarettes and things, Batman doesn't get them, you know. So you don't have anything to do with your hands, so you gotta just stand there like that.
Of course, the original Batman series re-release was tied to the new Batman Begins film. Yours truly got in on some of that action.
Action! I think every movie at some point has a location or a set that is going to be a nightmare no matter what happens. And you have to sort of suffer through that nightmare because it's something that the movie demands and has to be done. On this one, it was Iceland.
Let's go for our final checks, please, and let's stand by the chute.
Because what we'll do is we'll cheat it, we'll cut. Because I'll have the other side as well.
Very good.
I'll walk down that steep slope, apparently.
We were determined not to have this film feel like it had been filmed on a lot, you know, on a back lot, on a studio lot. We wanted there to be locations that would expand it, that would make the playing field and the canvas feel larger.
So we built a village on the edge of a glacier, and we built the front doors of the monastery on just around the corner. We were there from January till March building it. You know, it's obviously in this winter, so there's not very little light. The monastery is being built as a miniature, and we're going to put that in behind the front doors, so it's a combination of elements.
The other issue we had out there, of course, was we had to do Ducard and Wayne sliding down the ice and off the cliff edge, again, which we wanted to do for real. So we built an ice slide the week previously to the crew going out there.
This part of the segment really took me back to my stuntmaster's days.
Okay, here we go, guys. Stand by, please. Buster. Just remember that the hand you're digging in with, that is supposedly taking the weight of both you and the guy you're holding, so a real stop on that, really hanging from that gauntlet. Roll cameras, please. Okay, here we go, guys. Good luck, everyone. 3, 2, 1, action!
And I think that the attitude that Chris and I took towards it was, let's just go in there and get what we can and just get all that we can and come out of there alive with great footage.
Further cheated even further back and cheated this way.
I wasn't worried about starting with this outdoor, this sort of extreme location.
Action!
The crew and the cast and so forth came through with flying colours. That gave me a very high degree of confidence about how they were going to approach the rest of this rather large film.
That's the thing, to stand up on that glacier and say, you know what, we decided to do this, we did it, and it's fantastic. Those kind of moments on movies are hard to forget, and standing in the middle of it and going, Yeah, baby. That's what it's all about.
Whilst I wanted the terms of the storytelling to be as realistic as possible, the expectation of this kind of epic film is that the action go as big as possible at the end. That you take things to as extreme and as large and as extraordinary a set of circumstances as can be achieved without violating the terms of the storytelling. So all of the action at the end is designed to push the envelope as far as possible, but never abandon the grounded roots that we've tried to establish in the tone of the storytelling.
You know, as we've always said, that everything we can do on the movie for real, we will do. In this particular sequence, we've done a shot of him firing the gun and flying up to the train, and a continuation of that where he's flying along under the train. So Steve Crawley, who's our YRS supervisor, rigged up a system for us with computers, and I think it looks fabulous. You know, he's flying along, we've got him smashing through gantries as he goes along.
By the time I get to that bridge, I think I'm hitting about 30 mile an hour. We only did about a 15, 20 mile an hour rehearsal. Did it about 75%, but today we must have gone full speed. Someone must have had the Weetabix this morning.
We've got a collapsing monorail leg, which is at the far end of the set, which special effects have matched what we've built here, and that's basically hinged, so as part of the end, the finale, it will tip over.
We have a 6-scale miniature of the thing, and with the special effects guys and model guys, we will sort of realise the destruction of this thing as it plummets to the ground. The reason the miniatures are so big is we basically wanted to achieve as much reality as we could. We're featuring all the usual stuff of fire and dust and sort of destruction effects. So in order to make them look as realistic as possible, we've gone for the biggest manageable scale that we could construct, which has turned out to be 6-scale. The train itself is catapulted down the rail, the broken rail, using a pulley system and gravity effects. Also, the cameras are shooting at 4 times normal speed, so the train is actually slowed down on screen in order to give it sort of scale and mass and what have you. And I'm hoping to acquire a really sort of spectacular sequence out of it for the film.
3, 2, 1, action!
This shot was challenging for a number of reasons. First off was that the Batman animation had to dovetail with a practical stunt in the preceding shot, where we actually see Batman exiting the train from inside the train. So here we have Wayne Station pyrotechnic elements added to it. We have now added the crash set at the bottom, adding the foreground buildings, the foreground architecture. So now adding the train and the monorail towers, debris passes coming out the back of the train, all the dust and stuff. And now we've added pretty much everything. We've got Batman in there. We make sure we can see Batman by putting lots of light on the buildings behind him. But at the same time, we can't just light everything, so we've had to dramatically add uplighters, little light sources, turn on some of the windows, add window reflections, so that we basically create Batman as a silhouette.
Constantly keep showing Chris where we're going with the shot, keeps looking at stuff, getting his feedback, getting his interaction there. And then slowly the shot progresses and builds to the level where, like, oh, we're reaching critical mass, it's looking like it might be done. And then, of course, it's not, and we go and do it many more times until Chris is happy.
Where, as I sit here, having just finished the film, I'm extremely happy with what I've been able to do in my terms. That is to say, I've made the film that I said I was going to make. I've made it in the way that I wanted to make it. I've availed myself of all kinds of extraordinarily dedicated and creative collaborators, and ultimately they've helped me to make the film the way I felt it should be made. And there isn't a frame of the film that I don't claim as my own, and that's very satisfying from a creative point of view.
Good. Very nice. Check the gates on that. Swap bus transfer. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's go downstairs.